Earlier this month, I watched Thai volunteers digging into a mangrove swamp on the Andaman coast. This had been a holding camp for trafficked migrants. There were rumours of unmarked graves. They found the remains of a woman. Who she was or how she died, we still don't know. But we do know a lot more about the brutal human trade into which she'd been drawn. 6 months earlier, in the same area, we'd filmed a group of Bangladeshi men right after they'd been rescued from traffickers. They'd been found by local officials, half-starved and traumatised, in the mangroves. We realised then that a smuggling business originally built on Rohingyas fleeing from Myanmar was expanding.
What you saw in Thailand until very recently was networks of people smugglers and traffickers making a tremendous amount of money, paying corrupt local and national officials to either help or look the other way, and facilitating the movement of these people into Malaysia.
It was a secret trade, hidden in the rubber plantations that cover southern Thailand. A 16-year-old Rohingya boy took us to the jungle camp where he'd been held with 600 others. For his safety, we've concealed his identity. They demanded a huge ransom, he said, making him phone his family. And when they couldn't pay, he was beaten. He showed me where they slept in the open, and where he said he saw people raped and killed. This young woman also escaped from a different camp. When we spoke to her, she was hiding in a safe house. Since then, she's managed to reach Malaysia.
I want to tell everyone back at home, please don't come here. If you come here, you will end up in a terrible situation. This is worse than what you are escaping. They don't even provide food for the children. All they do is torture us. If you are to die, I beg you, die back home, don't come here.
Thailand has known about this trade for years, but done little to stop it. We were allowed to join a military patrol along the coast where the smugglers land their victims, but they seldom caught anyone. Well, we know that boats have been dumping their human cargoes right in this area. That's why we're searching these mangrove swamps. But the sheer size and forested nature of this coastline dwarf the very limited resources that the Thai authorities are putting into this operation. What we learnt was that the business had sucked in Thais at all levels. This young man showed us areas around his village where holding camps had been set up among the rubber trees. Appalled at the abuses he was hearing about, he started sheltering migrants who managed to escape.
The whole community is involved in this business. Everybody knows about the camps. It's because of the money. The traffickers hire everyone. They hire people to keep watch on the camps, to carry food for the Rohingyas. They go around all the houses here, hiring people.
Most of those arriving on Thailand's shores remained ignorant of the full horror of the camps. But as I found out with this group of Rohingyas who'd been caught as they landed, the ransom they'd have to pay to reach Malaysia was a big worry. How many of you are worried that your families won't be able to pay the brokers if you end up with the traffickers again? But as Mohammed, a school teacher from Rakhine State, told me, they felt they had little choice but to risk the abuses of the traffickers.
The Myanmar Buddhist monk and government's military, they all are arrested us. They are beaten, and we don't have any way to escape our life. The Myanmar government, so bad and bad.
A visiting government minister who was doling out food and clothing gave me the chance to ask about the scale of the people smuggling business in Thailand. Minister, would you agree that Thailand has allowed the trafficking business to go on for too long and become too big?
This government is committed to enforcing the law against the traffickers, he said. For years, though, only small-time players were ever arrested, like these guards who were caught with the Rohingyas we just met. One by one, they were questioned by the local police chief, who tried, without success, to find out who they were working for. It's only now, after graves were discovered in the camps, that we've seen bigger fish reeled in. This powerful businessman from the south was arrested this week, although he maintains his innocence of any involvement in trafficking. Last year, when I began investigating this trade, few Thai officials were doing much about it. Manat Pientong, a district chief on the Andaman coast, was one. He'd rescued several groups from the traffickers, and he ran his own roadblock to stop them from being transported to the camps further south. Back then, he was hopeful he would get more support. I believe the government is taking it seriously, he said. There are investigations now which could lead to arrests, not just the small players, but the big ones as well. 6 months later, he is no longer alone. And still, the full measure of official involvement in trafficking here has yet to be exposed. Jonathan Head, BBC News, Southern Thailand.